A pleasure to meet y'all at last. And for today, it's November 21st of 2025. And as you can tell by the title, we're ready to do another game review. More specifically, the first impressions surrounding the latest installment in the Call of Duty franchise. Yeah, that's right. Call of Duty Black Ops 7 has been around for a little while now, and I had been able to get a copy and play through some of the game already. In my instances of this game so far, I mostly started off with the campaign stuff, and I'm sure by the making of this video I'll have many more clips put together, but for now, my main focus is on the likes of the campaign mode. As some of you guys probably know, Black Ops 7 is essentially carrying on the likes of Black Ops 2. I guess you could say it's mainly feeding off the mass success that Black Ops 2 generated 13 years ago, nonetheless. And wouldn't you know that in the many years that have passed since then, there's still a lot of people that actively play Black Ops 2. No doubt that 2 console generations ago, and probably soon to be a 3rd console generation ago, as we're probably getting close to the point at which that PlayStation 6 could be on its way, or at least they might have announcements for it. It's just incredible that Black Ops 2 has apparently met that much of a legacy to a lot of people out there. Whether people want to believe it or not, we've had a lot of great Call of Duty games over the past 20 years or so, and I am, in fact, more than happy to have played this one because there's a lot of unique weapon variety to choose from, as well as the typical moments that we tend to get for that signature Call of Duty feel. And much like with the last Black Ops game, there are even training courses that take place, although it's mostly regulated for multiplayer and zombies. So I'm sure multiplayer and zombies will be just as awesome. In the last game, they were pretty spectacular all around. There's just no doubt in my mind that with every new installment that we've been getting, we have been doing so much better. I could not possibly make this stuff up, and I'm sure you can't either. But either way you look at it, Black Ops 7 carrying on the story from Black Ops 2, essentially it takes place 10 years in the future. I mean, we are in 2025, and there has not been a Cortes Dia like in the second game. It does kind of make you wonder though, why didn't Black Ops 3 give us something like that? The idea of Black Ops 2 taking place in 2025 is one thing, and Black Ops 3 takes place about 30 years later. So why exactly didn't we get the likes of the usual crew from Black Ops 2? Where were Mason and Harper? Well, in any case though, it's now 2035. And I guess we'll just have to see if anything chalks up to that level, like in this game. We're basically given something known as the Guild. The Guild, of course, are personnel in which that JSOC members are attempting to track down and essentially bring in. The reason? I don't really know. I haven't even made it that far into the game to understand what the story is, and of course what the lore is like in correspondence to said story. Well, in any case though, our first mission is to go into a facility and grab a hold of one of the leaders of the guild. And she herself was highly prepared and dispensed some sort of red gas. This red gas that I remembered from the last Black Ops installment called the Cradle is essentially some sort of toxin. A toxin that creates a mass amount of hallucinations and a number of other chaotic effects on one's health. The hallucinations themselves in this case are just way overboard. We did know that Black Ops 6 practically left on a cliffhanger, but I certainly was not expecting Black Ops 7 to pick up on the events of Black Ops 2. So whether it's retconned or not doesn't exactly hold on this much, because think about it. It's a Black Ops title. Shouldn't we be getting more Mason and Woods? Well, we do get Woods. But wouldn't you know, he died in 2034. That's already pretty crazy because he lived up to 104 years old. And on top of all that, where is Alex? because there are certain endings that you can get in which that you can spare Mason, but I guess you could say that the canon ending is that Mason got shot to death by Woods accidentally because of Menendez's manipulation. Well, at the same time, they considered that Mason's death as the bad ending of the game. I guess they wanted to make the bad ending canon? Who really knows? Either way, when our team, including the likes of Mason and Harper, which, sad to say, I haven't heard much about Michael Rooker in this game. I wonder how he's doing. But there are two other members, Samuels and 50/50. They're basically new to the team, a JSOC division, of which that work with Mason and Harper. And the whole thing is made to be a co-op challenge. No joke. Much like multiplayer in Zombies, you have the opportunity to play online with friends in the form of the campaign mode. Some might find this to be a little unnecessary, but hey, at least it's not like Black Ops 4. They basically included no campaign at all, probably because of how bad the third game's campaign failed. But when you think about it, they were able to revitalize it when Black Ops 5 came out in 2020, and 6 actually did a fantastic job. Although being a lot more on the original side compared to all of the stuff we've had with Mason and whatnot. It's just not Black Ops without the Mason family involved. I wonder if Mason's gonna have his own kids and they might grow up to be like him and remember their grandfather Alex. But I guess that's a bridge we're gonna have to cross before we can even consider that idea. In any case though, the team is exposed to the cradle at the facility, and they eventually encounter hallucinations in which that they meet up with Frank Woods. Yeah, the old uncle for good old David. But anyways though, this Uncle Woods, if you will, he warns David to stay away from him because he's got a fight against Menendez. Menendez is the man who caused a lot of trouble for Woods and Alex, his father. So, the thing is that throughout most of the second mission, we are in fact fighting hallucinations, including a massive plant monster with 3 heads. Just make sure that you hit the groats that are alive and wriggling around. That's my key on how to beat that boss in particular. It's a pretty nice boss fight. Kind of gives me Little Shop of Horrors vibes, but without the comedy, just straight up horror. And for the third mission that I was able to get through, we're going up against a sniper that works for the guild and is basically hired as an assassin. And man, she is just as tough to beat. You really gotta zone in on her before she locks onto you and fires a shot. And I'm not kidding when I say that even with armor and health at maximum, she will drain like 80% of the whole thing. The full armor plate will be gone, since armor plates are optional that you can add on to protect your health meter from going any deeper. And I kid you not, the sniper she uses is that powerful. 80% of your entire health and armor gets wiped out in a second. So, talk about a challenging boss fight. That I at least approve. If they can come up with creative, unique ways to make boss fights more exciting, tense, and also unique in their own right, then that's gonna get a lot of points out of my book. Now, I don't know much about the rest of the game, because again, this is more about how I feel about the game. I also haven't played much of multiplayer or zombies yet, but I'm sure that those will come around just as well. But from what I experienced so far, Black Ops 7 still does a great job at what it does. It acts not just as a sequel, setting us up years after the events of Black Ops 2, which itself set up many years after the events of Black Ops 1. Well, then again, Black Ops 2 had plenty of events that took place during the Cold War in the 80s, alongside members of the Contra and Cartel in Middle Central America. But of course, we're mostly focusing on the aspects in which that take place at some point in the deep future. In this case, we have a 10-year period before we can truly find out what is it going on in 2035. Are we ever going to experience anything like we saw in this game? Only time will tell. But apparently in 25, there's not been a case of a female president or Cordes Dia, or of course a terrorist much worse than Osama bin Laden. Even if any of those things do show up at some point between now and then, well, we'll just have to see for ourselves. How could the events of Black Ops 7 possibly match up with real life? It would be a real coincidence. So in any case though, I'm willing to give myself a good score on this game. I'm sure that if multiplayer and zombies shows up and I get to play around with them for a little while, my score will go up a little bit higher because I know that zombies and multiplayer are just going to do just as awesome as with the last game. Black Ops 6 really nailed it hard with multiplayer and zombies functions because they just do a lot more than what we bargained for. So Black Ops 7 still gets a good 7.3 out of 10.1 for my overall scoring. And again, multiplayer and zombies, if I play through those, then I'll put down in the comment section or the description box below as to how my score will be updated in correspondence to these other functions that I will in fact explore. Until that happens though, that's it for this piece of first impressions. So I'll be back next month. I get the feeling you guys are going to want me to do more of this stuff, but really, I'm going to have to keep a good financial record going on. So I'll only be doing this stuff monthly. And for December of 2025, I'll have another good game worth picked out. So make sure to like, subscribe, comment, follow me wherever you can find me, and stay on the Hollywood side for more.